Hello, I am Didi and I am back with a fresh poster illustration. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Here I create and guide you through the process of designing in Photoshop. We will explore different tools, discuss helpful tips and tricks, and all aimed at enhancing your skills as a graphic designer. In today's session, we will be working on a gym motivational poster. To bring it to life, we will utilize the motion blur effect, experiment with various shapes, and incorporate a cool typography style. So without any further delay, let's dive right in. As usual, let's create a new document by selecting our canvas, which will be again poster A4, and click here on create and straightway drag in our image onto the canvas. And now we have to remove the background and isolate our subject. For that I have used the quick selection tool and then working in the select and mask workspace. I will be skipping the process in this video, otherwise the video will be a long one. I have discussed the background removal in details in my other videos. If you want, you can watch that by clicking on the I button on the top right corner, and also I will be leaving the link in the description box below. I will suggest you to be as precise as possible in this case because it will be our main subject and will be occupying the major part of the poster. Be patient and take your own time to do it. And this is our subject ready to be further worked on. Let's add a hue and saturation layer and bring down the saturation to 0 because I want the image to be black and white. If you don't want that, you can skip this step. Also, we will add a levels adjustment layer to give it a little more contrast. Clip the adjustment layers to the subject by holding the Alt or Option key on the keyboard. Hold the cursor between the layers, and when the cursor changes, just click. Now let's add a solid adjustment layer. Change the color if you want. Click OK and drag the layer beneath all the layers. Here we will play with the subject layer a little bit more. Our subject is black and white, but I want her clothing to be the original color. Let me show you how it can be done. Grab the quick selection tool and make a selection of the clothing areas. Try to be precise in this selection. If you have selected some excess areas, just hold the Alt or Option key on the keyboard, and when the cursor turns to minus, paint on those areas to deselect them. If required, adjust your brush size by pressing right and left second bracket keys. Now we will be making the selection of the pants. Make sure the Add to Selection button is checked and we will continue making selection. Now select the layer mask on the hue and saturation layer here and take the brush tool. Foreground color will be black. We will paint over these areas. You can change your brush to hard round brush. This is called Selective Masking. Press Ctrl or Command D to deselect. Now we have to refine the edges manually. Adjust the brush size and change the foreground color to white and paint on the edges of the clothings. Let's adjust the levels a little bit. Now we will rename the layer as subject. We will group all the three layers by selecting the uppermost layer and hold the Shift key and click on the lowermost layer. This will select all of them, and then we will press Ctrl or Command G to group them together and rename it as subject final. We will make a duplicate copy of it by pressing Ctrl or Command J for backup purpose and turn off the visibility of the original one, and we will now convert this group into a smart object. Again, make a copy of it and turn off the visibility of one layer for the time being. Select this layer and go to Filter, then Blur, and then click on Motion Blur. You can adjust the amount and distance of the blur with this slider. Change the angle from here. We will keep it here, and when you are satisfied, hit OK. Bring it below the normal subject layer and turn on the visibility. Now we will create a layer mask of the blurred subject layer by selecting it and clicking here on the Add Layer Mask button. Press and hold the Command key and click on the icon here to make a selection of the normal subject layer. Press Ctrl or Command I to inverse the selection. Now grab the brush tool, change the foreground color to black by pressing X key, adjust the brush size, opacity and flow to 100%. Just start painting over these areas like that. Now change the brush to soft round brush and continue. I think it will be enough. Now we will link both the layers together by selecting them and clicking on this icon here. Now both of them will move together. We can also resize them. Did we just lost the motion blur effect? No, of course not. If something like this happens to you also, then don't worry. Just go to the effect in the layer here and turn off and on the effect by clicking on the eyeball here, and it will be back. Now let's move on and add some shapes to our poster. But before that, let's rename this layer as subject motion to avoid any confusions. Select the normal subject layer and go to the brush tool. Brush will be soft round brush, foreground color will be black. Make the brush bigger and paint on these areas to make the edges on this side little softer. Now we will be adding a circle. For that, click on the ellipse tool and holding down the shift key, draw a circle anywhere on the canvas. Let's change the fill color first. Strokes will be none. I want the color of the circle to be same as her clothing's. For that, click here and the solid color dialog box will open. Take your cursor on her clothing. You will notice that the cursor will change to a color picker tool, and now click on the desired color area and you will see that the color is already being selected in the dialog box. If you want, you can change it also and then simply hit OK. We'll bring the ellipse layer in between the normal subject layer and the subject motion layer and position it where we want it to be. Now go to the blending mode here and select overlay. Let's make it a little bit bigger. We can play with the opacity here if you want. We will now group all these layers together and rename it as subject composite. Next, we're gonna add a triangle here, and for that, click on the triangle tool and holding the shift key again, draw a triangle anywhere on the canvas. This will make the triangle equilateral, that is, all sides are equal. If you don't want that, draw it without holding the shift. I don't want any fill color for this. Let's change the size of the stroke first. Then change the color from here. Now we will rotate it at 180 degrees by holding the shift key and bring the cursor near the anchor, and when the cursor changes, just click and hold and rotate. Holding the shift key will make it rotate in a specific angle like 15, 45, 90 and so on. Resize the position it as per our need. We will bring the triangle beneath the subject composite group. Let's refine it a little bit more by adding a shadow to the subject. For doing that, go to the subject layer and double click on the blank area, not the icon, not the title. This will open the layer style dialog box. Click here to check the drop shadow and click on it. You can adjust position of the shadow like this. Play with the opacity, then size. I think this much is fine. Press OK. And we will move on to adding some text. Click on the text tool and click anywhere on the canvas. Type in your text. Go back to the move tool, adjust the text size from here. Change the font. I'll be using the font Poppins. It's free and available on the Google Fonts. I will be leaving the download link in the description. Let's keep it bold. Adjust the character spacings from here. Hold down the Alt or Option key, place the cursor on the text, and when it changes like this, just drag to make a duplicate copy of it. Double click to edit. Now we will add a slice effect to it. Go to pen tool, make sure path is selected, make a path like this and right click inside the path and click on make selection. Click OK. Now select this layer and add a layer mask by clicking here. Press Ctrl or Command I to inverse this mask. Now we will do the similar thing with the other text layer. Then click on the line tool here and draw a line like this. Position it like this. Change the size of the line from here. Change the fill color. We don't want any strokes. Again, select the line layer and add a layer mask. Go to brush tool, select soft round brush. Foreground color will be black, of course, and we will paint like this. Go back to the move tool and position this text layer like this. Let's refine it a little bit more. Click on the layer mask of this text layer, taking the brush tool we will paint like this. Make sure to use the soft round brush and foreground color will be black, and like this we can have a nice slice effect. We have made a little mistake here. Did you notice it? Let me know in the comments if you have already noticed it. Here all our text are placed inside our subject group. It will not affect our poster in any way, but proper organization is important. It will affect you when you will be working on a big project with lots of layers in it, so better to imbibe this habit from the starting itself. So we will select all these 3 layers and drag them outside the group like this. Now position it where we want it to be. I wanna change the color of the text. Select all the 3 layers and resize them together as per the need. Let's make another copy of the text and double click to edit. We don't want this layer mask for this layer, so select the layer mask and hit delete on the keyboard. Resize and position it. We'll now be adding 2 lines here and we have to make a path for that. Let's make the path first. For that, let's add some guides. And how we do that? By going to the ruler here, click and hold and drag it to the desired position and drop. Now we take the paint tool. Make sure path is selected and holding down the shift key, click on the intersection of the guides like this to make the path. Now go to the text tool and place your cursor inside the path we just created, and you will notice that the cursor is now a different one. Just click. Now type in your text. You can now remove the guides like this if you want, and if it doesn't bother you much, you can keep it. You can edit the text in whatever way you like. That wraps up today's video on creating a stunning poster in Photoshop. I hope you enjoyed the process and liked the final design. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. You can also connect with me on Pinterest and Instagram. The links are in the description below. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos as I will be back soon with a brand new poster design. Until then, take care, goodbye and keep creating.